Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Tuesday, the 24th day of February. This is CTV News. Tonight, still in the loose, the difficulty in finding information about an escaped inmate. Still stompin', Maritime City paying tribute to a music icon. And singing for the soup kitchen. A community comes together to keep serving hot meals.
Live from our Maritime's News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. Questions are being asked tonight about an escaped inmate in New Brunswick. The man who's accused of weapons offenses jumped a fence in Shediac nearly 2 weeks ago. But police aren't saying much about efforts to catch him. CTV's Derek Haggett has more.
The RCMP says there is no new public information to share regarding the escape of an inmate. But CTV News has learned he was charged with weapons offenses just last month. Todd John Lewis escaped from the Southeast Regional Correctional Center on February 12th and is still on the run. Court documents show the 35-year-old is facing charges for allegedly having a restricted weapon, despite being prohibited from possessing firearms for life. Lewis was charged on January 21st with 9 offenses, including possessing a loaded restricted firearm, carrying a restricted weapon in a careless manner, carrying a concealed weapon, possessing a weapon, a knife. A judge issued the lifelong weapons prohibition order last August. The court documents allege Lewis had a loaded Soviet-era semi-automatic pistol used during the Second World War in his possession on January 20th in Moncton. Police say Lewis escaped around supper time on February 12th by jumping the fence. The RCMP only learned of his escape after midnight and issued an emergency alert roughly 12 hours later. Due to the length of time he was missing, the RCMP issued the alert just after noon on Friday the 13th. Lewis is described as being around 5'7" and 146 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. Police say he should not be approached if spotted. Anyone who does see him should call 911 immediately. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Shediac, New Brunswick.
CTV News has obtained court documents that reveal details about 2 of 4 young hockey players facing sexual assault charges after police investigated a complaint about a hazing ritual last fall. The 2, whose identities are protected because of their ages, were formally charged today. Charges include 2 counts of sexual assault, 1 count of sexual assault with a weapon, which the documents describe as a mini hockey stick. The case involved alleged attacks on 3 victims in Colchester County back in October. Both accused were 14 at the time. They've both since turned 15. They are scheduled to appear in court in Truro in April.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
We're getting a better idea tonight of what the Nova Scotia government is sacrificing to help offset its billion-dollar deficit. That includes reductions or even elimination of hundreds of grants to various groups and organizations. Here's a few in the latter category. $40,000 investments in the Arts Nova Scotia Art Bank are gone as of now, as is the $700,000 Publishers Assistance Program. Another $75,000 earmarked for active living through Bicycle Nova Scotia, also being eliminated. In the Department of Education and Early Childhood Development, $1.4 million dedicated to various scholarships and awards is being cut, along with $90,000 set aside for African Nova Scotia youth through the Africentric Summer Scholar Program. And another $12,000 dedicated to the province's Women in Engineering Scholarship will vanish as well. There are others on the list that are also being eliminated and even more that are being reduced, some by a little, some by a lot. Add everything together, it comes out to about $130 million, which is what was revealed in yesterday's budget coverage. In New Brunswick, a leaked government document is creating quite a buzz in university campuses for all the wrong reasons. The list of ideas to save money includes one of merging the University of New Brunswick with St. Thomas up the hill. CTV's Laura Brown didn't have to go far to find reaction to that.
I just think it's crazy. The idea was among 16 presented to New Brunswick universities. Those included other mergers like CCNB with the Université de Moncton, privatizing Mount Allison University, repurpose university infrastructure for nursing homes or health clinics, asking municipalities to contribute to recreational facilities, or cut operating grants by 10% while also freezing tuition.
It's almost as if I were to ask ChatGPT, hey, give me some ideas on how I can fix post-secondary education in the budget, and then it would give me those 16 ideas.
The university sector is among the top 6 export revenue generating sectors in New Brunswick, behind aquaculture. Nearly $50 million annually is generated in provincial tax by the 4 publicly funded universities.
Premier Susan Holt was asked about the document this afternoon.
I appreciate the love that many New Brunswickers have expressed for their alma mater, and I want to reassure people that our goal is not to eliminate a school. It's to look at and to challenge maybe some of those norms.
She said right now the province spends $449 million annually on funding post-secondary education. The document alludes to a quick timeline, asking the universities to submit their input so it could be presented to Cabinet this week. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
And the budget battle continues at Halifax City Hall as councillors and the mayor square off over ways to cut spending and reduce a proposed property tax hike.
The motion is defeated.
They've previously argued about bike lanes and buses, skate parks and skating rinks. Today, the focus was climate funding, the mayor suggesting cutting that by 1/3 for a year.
The motion is not a referendum on Halifax. It's not calling into question our municipality's commitment or my own commitment to climate action. Those are hardwired values in all of us at this point.
We should have been doing this 20 years ago. We don't slow this down. Respectfully, Mayor, I'm so concerned that this is even on the table.
As the debate continues, it's worth noting, even if council holds the tax rate steady, bills will likely still climb because of higher property assessments. Driving an electric vehicle in Nova Scotia will be more expensive going forward. Yesterday's provincial budget included a new fee on EVs, and owners aren't very happy about it. Here's CTV's Jonathan McGuinness.
As part of Nova Scotia's budget tabled yesterday, a $500 fee for electric vehicles and $250 for hybrids is being implemented, to be paid every 2 years when license plates are renewed.
I believe we're the 4th province to bring this type of levy in.
Saskatchewan is one of those 3 other provinces. They've had this policy on the books since 2021. Nova Scotia's finance minister says drivers of gas vehicles pay for road upkeep through fuel taxes, and EV and hybrid drivers should do the same.
I think it's a recognition that electric vehicles do not pay the motor fuel tax, and that this is their contribution to maintaining the highways, which they certainly use.
The standard pickup truck generally weighs the same or more than an EV.
The province says these new fees will raise $1.6 million in year 1 and $3.3 million the year after. The new charges for EVs and hybrids will come into effect October 1st. Jonathan McGuinness, CTV News, Halifax.
And a day after the budget, the Houston government today tabled its Powering the Economy Act. It includes several pieces of legislation that aim to set the framework around the development of natural resources like offshore wind, oil, and gas, as well as how the province intends to make money from all of it.
It sends a message to Nova Scotians that there is significant opportunity that will come from the jobs and employment that go around, the spin-off from that. This is thousands of jobs.
Every idea that this government has come up with for revenue has no plan, no price tag, and no timeline.
Chandler made the comments at a rally outside the legislature today calling for lower power rates. The Ukrainian community in Moncton came together tonight for a somber anniversary. Today marked the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the start of the war that rages on today. More than 100 people of all ages converged on City Hall in Moncton to hear speeches, prayers, and national anthems. And they're making a difference. Since 2022, the Ukrainian Club of Moncton has raised $600,000 for medical supplies and clothing for Ukrainian soldiers on the front lines.
Thousands of children have been forcibly taken from their homes. Many prisoners so far remain in dire conditions. Civilian infrastructure, some schools, hospitals, homes has been destroyed. Electricity and basic service are often unavailable.
The soldiers of the Ukrainian army who defended the homeland since 2014, tens of thousands are now gone forever. Their sacrifice will always be remembered.
Greater Moncton area has welcomed around 2,000 Ukrainians since the war broke out 4 years ago today. All right, still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll examine the growing sophistication of scammers who are now using AI to trick you out of your money. Coming up next, though, a lasting tribute.
It's time for St. John to stand up and say, this is our son.
Efforts are underway for a permanent memorial to an iconic Maritimer who went on to become a national treasure. That's next. Stay with us.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Did you hear we're giving away 30 trips to right here, Beaches, Turks and Caicos with Password to Paradise.
Listen for your passwords every 2 hours from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Stompin Tom Connors wrote songs about everyday Canadians, truck drivers, miners, loggers, Bud the Spud. It earned him the Order of Canada, a spot in the Walk of Fame, and made him a folk hero. He never wanted to be put on a pedestal, but his hometown is doing it anyway. Here's CTV's Nick Moore.
It's Bud the Spud from the right red mud. Before he became a Canadian music icon, Charles Thomas Connors started it all in St. John, where he was born February 9th, 1936.
One of his first songs that he ever wrote was Reversing Falls, Darling.
Connors spent those early formative years in the port city surviving extreme poverty. An effort is now afoot by the St. John-based Hemmings House production company to honor Stompin Tom Connors with a statue in his hometown.
He really represents the human spirit when things are difficult, and to be able to overcome incredible obstacles, to only inject this sense of pride and spirit throughout our entire country.
He hits up that old New Brunswick line. Connors' home province has always proudly called him their own. His ties to Prince Edward Island run deep after he moved to Skinner's Pond later on as a child. That island connection also cemented by this tourism ad. 800-565-7421. A statue of Stompin Tom was unveiled in Sudbury, Ontario, 2 years after his death in 2015.
It's time for St. John to stand up and say, this is our son.
Last night, St. John City Council voted unanimously to move forward with the statue idea here. Fundraising will soon begin.
So St. John, we need to honor this guy and show him respect and honor, and his family as well, just to say we love this guy.
The group would like the statue to be located in a prominent area uptown, such as King Square or here along the waterfront. The group hopes a statue of Connors will be up sometime before the end of the year, putting this legendary Canadian back in his old stomping grounds. Nick Moore, CTV News, St. John.
Thank you, Nick. Time for a quick little break here, but when we return, it's your complete Maritime weather forecast. This would be the calm after the storm, easing toward another weekend. Kaylin's got all the details coming up next. The 24th day of February, the day after the big storm, the day after Kaylin's birthday. Yep. And I know I saw you posted something on Facebook a little earlier about some totals, 40 plus in some cases, I guess.
Yeah, some inland areas of Lunenburg County, Newcombville, reported an observer there reported 41 centimeters of snow. Now, they did also report, though, that it was very tough to measure this snow, and that was the situation basically across the Maritimes because the winds were so high and gusty with it. It was blowing around a lot and blowing into drifts, but it was a fairly widespread 15 to 30 centimeters across most of Nova Scotia, southern areas of New Brunswick, and straight on into parts of Prince Edward Island. As expected, the overall snowfall totals tapered lower, and they tapered lower quite quickly into northern and western areas of New Brunswick with the system. Now, it is now past for the rest of tonight. It's a cold night. There's some partly cloudy conditions around Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, clearing for New Brunswick. Cold start to the day for tomorrow. Wednesday morning, though, a mix of sun and cloud around the Maritimes, followed by increasing cloudiness moving into and through the afternoon, and some more snow that's moving in. Now, this snow, though, it's not going to come anywhere close to those totals that we just saw. It is mostly going to be a lighter snow for the Maritimes. It does begin Wednesday afternoon in western New Brunswick and the southwest of Nova Scotia, and then moves across the Maritimes west to east Wednesday evening and Wednesday night. The snow may even mix with or turn over to some rain for parts of Nova Scotia. What's left of that snow will be clearing Prince Edward Island and eastern areas of Nova Scotia, including Cape Breton, in the early morning hours of Thursday. So how much can we expect to pick up out of that next round? In most cases, between about 1 and 5 centimeters. Now, there may be some pockets as high as 5 to 10 centimeters of snow around the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick. A chance of some locally higher amounts for parts of Prince Edward Island and in the east of Nova Scotia, including Cape Breton. Winds for tonight are still out of the northwest. They're a bit breezy out there, not as strong as they were, though, during the day. Tomorrow's winds will be out of the southwest in the afternoon, and they'll be sustained 10 to 20 kilometers per hour with some gusts between 20 and 40. Now, low temperatures in the region for tonight in the province of New Brunswick will mostly fall between minus 13 and minus 18, minus 22 up around Edmundston in the northwest. For Prince Edward Island tonight, a lot of low temperatures between minus 9 and minus 11, and for Nova Scotia tonight, most of the lows between minus 4 and minus 9. Highs tomorrow in the north of New Brunswick between minus 3 and minus 6, including minus 3 at Miramichi and minus 6 at Edmundston and Grand Falls. Fredericton tomorrow, the high of around minus 2. Same thing goes for St. John, and for Moncton in the southeast, minus 3. High temperatures for Prince Edward Island include minus 3 for O'Leary and Summerside, Charlottetown, then minus 2 for St. Peter's Bay, Montague, and Surrey. In Cape Breton tomorrow, the high temperatures mostly between 0 and minus 3, including minus 1 at Sydney, minus 2 at Shettycamp, minus 3 at Inverness. Near 0 for communities on the north shore of mainland Nova Scotia. On the eastern shore, the highs between minus 1 and plus 1. Cumberland, Colchester, Hants County tomorrow with highs between minus 2 and 0. Near 0 for the city centers Halifax and Dartmouth. The Annapolis Valley tomorrow with highs near 0. And for communities on the south shore of Nova Scotia, high temperatures between 0 and plus 2. In the extended forecast for New Brunswick coming up on Thursday, isolated flurries, and then after that on Friday, it's a sunny day. A mix of sun and cloud for the start of the weekend, a chance of flurries on Sunday, colder air moving in for the first part of March. Temperatures get colder Sunday night and remain colder for Monday and Tuesday of next week. For Nova Scotia in the outlook, we have some isolated flurries on Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud for Friday, and same thing goes for the start of the weekend on Saturday. It's a chance of flurries on Sunday with colder temperatures Sunday night and around for Monday and Tuesday of next week. Daytime highs a few to several degrees below 0. For Prince Edward Island, the forecast, it's a chance of flurries on Thursday, followed by a mix of sun and cloud on Friday, and for the start of the weekend, a chance of flurries after that on Sunday, and then colder air around for the first part of March. Bruce.
And we're still not quite finished with February.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's that. Okay, thank you. We'll step aside for just a moment. Stay with us. More to come.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
If you find yourself increasingly suspicious that something is a scam, you're not alone. Fraudsters keep coming up with more sophisticated ways to separate you from your money, and lately they're using AI to do that. As CTV's Hafsa Arif tells us tonight, a new survey suggests that scams and scammers are evolving quickly and becoming even harder to detect.
From deep fakes to cloned videos, fraud is evolving and fast. And as a result, people are growing anxious around artificial intelligence and its role in scams.
About 50% of those in Canada have engaged in activity that might make them more vulnerable to fraud and scams.
Fraudsters are casting wide nets, sometimes sending millions of messages a day waiting for someone to take the bait, which has dramatically improved scam rates.
Microsoft has shown that these artificial intelligence, particularly these generative AI tools, have increased the effectiveness of phishing emails from about a 12% success rate to a 54% success rate.
Cybersecurity expert David Shipley says the danger isn't just smarter emails, it's misplaced trust.
They face the chance of falling victim to a scam that be anywhere between 80 to 140% higher risk.
And it's not just targeting seniors.
I do worry about my parents and their generations that could be quite easily scammed by things that aren't necessarily real. They look quite convincing, don't they?
Hafsa Arif, CTV News.
Thank you, Hafsa. Time for one final break tonight. Coming up, singing for the soup kitchen. First, though, it is your wake-up weather. Kaylin Mitchell with everything you need to know for Wednesday morning as we gaze upon downtown Halifax on this Tuesday night, currently -3.
News doesn't wait, and neither should you. At home, at work, and on the go, stay connected with a team you can trust anytime, anywhere. CTV Atlantic and ctvatlantic.ca. Watch live on Crave.
Is time for the Wednesday morning wake-up weather with the one and only Kaylin Mitchell.
Yeah, and you want to dress warm tomorrow because the temperatures are going to be cold in the morning, as is often the case, even for late February in the Maritimes. Morning temperature several degrees below zero, down in the -teens, parts of New Brunswick, and in Prince Edward Island, the morning temperatures between around -9, -11. For the afternoon, it's increasing cloudiness. Some light snow beginning to develop in western areas of New Brunswick and the southwest of Nova Scotia. That snow will become more widespread for the Maritimes moving into and through Wednesday evening and Wednesday night. Bruce.
Thank you, Kaylin. Well, a soup kitchen in North Sydney is pulling out all the stops these days to try to keep the doors open against the odds. As CTV's Ryan McDonald shows us tonight, you could also say that they're digging deep to do so.
This soup kitchen in North Sydney has been a labor of love for Gary Rideout since his vision for the not-for-profit began 10 years ago.
When I started this venture, I said that if I had to, I would sell my house to keep this going.
The last few years, they have been serving hot meals inside this former school, but Rideout says on several occasions he has had to reach into his own pockets to keep the place running.
I took my retirement and I put it into the work here, and I worked on this building for over 3 years. So, it's something that my whole heart and soul is into.
Never again will go down underground.
This coming weekend, the Soup Kitchen and its supporters are putting on a fundraising concert featuring the Men of the Deeps and Jen Shepherd at the North Sydney Fire Hall. Organizers say about half the tickets have been sold.
We do need help physically, and we do need help monetarily.
The people who run the kitchen here say that as things stand right now, they are able to open 2 days a week. But the hope is that after this weekend's fundraising concert, they'll be able to extend that to 3 days per week.
People on pensions can't afford much, so they're just making it ends meet. That comes every the end of the month and stuff.
I want to leave a legacy. That's all I want to do. It's not about me. It's about what we have in our community.
Sunday evening's benefit is set to take place from 6 till 9. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, North Sydney.
Thank you, Ryan. Nice story there. That is your late news for this evening. Just a reminder, if you joined us late or you'd like another look at anything you've seen tonight, ctvnewsatlantic.ca is your home for news. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up late with us. Have a good evening. Do hope to see you again tomorrow.